Hey there. Today the moon continues in Capricorn. It is Friday the 13th, and I am Marina Orms here with your Astro Vibe for Friday, June 13th. And we are working with this Capricorn energy. It is practical, earthy, grounded, and focusing on the need for grounding, focusing on our foundations, where we stand, how to put our roots into the earth in whatever ways we need to do that, metaphorically, perhaps, in some ways, literally as well. Focusing on our roots, where we belong, where we are centered within ourselves, and feeling solid, right? So, Capricorn, which is ruled by Saturn, is that energy of structure. And Capricorn and Saturn both rule the bony skeleton in our body, which provides structure literally for our bodies. So when you hear the term, I guess it's a phrase, where is your backbone? That is the energy of Capricorn and Saturn. So finding your backbone, finding your center of gravity, finding your stability. So Capricorn, just like a big, very old, very wise tree in the forest, has to have its roots deep into the earth so that it can withstand the storms that may come. And a tree that doesn't have its roots as deeply into the earth, or a tree that is not healthy or older and more fragile, is going to obviously be more vulnerable when the storms come along, right? So think of yourself as that way, and what do you need to do to bolster your structure, your stability, your foundations? What makes you remember who you are, what helps you remember who you are, and finding that center, finding who you are, where you belong, knowing who you are, because that is, in a sense, finding your backbone. And when you can do that, you are not only more competent and capable and strong in a storm and can survive or withstand whatever winds may be blowing, whatever direction, but also you know what to do when things come along in the moment. And that is the way a lot of the things in our communities and our social environments and our relationships may show up in the moment, right? So the opportunities to speak your mind, to say what you think, to take a stand for something that you don't like, or speak up for somebody being mistreated, or speak up for something that's not right. You can do that much more easily when you have your backbone, when you have focused on your own roots being planted deep in the earth. In other words, when you know who you are, what matters to you, what principles you believe in, what's important, then you're so much more capable and strong to speak up when that moment arises, when something is happening and you need to respond. And Capricorn, responsibility. So the energy of Capricorn sometimes is spoken of as being very serious, very burdensome sometimes. And it can be that burden of responsibility. But by remembering that responsibility doesn't have to mean burden, it can mean the ability to respond, right? So it's not about being rigid or stuck in your ways. It is about adapting, being flexible enough to A, know who you are, and B, be able to respond in the moment to what is showing up that needs you to respond. And when something is showing up that needs you to respond, it is something that is going to be healthy for you to stand in your truth about, right? It's going to be healthy and good for your own wholeness if you know who you are and you are able to say the things that you need to say because it aligns with who you are and what matters to you. So that Capricorn energy of structure does not mean being inflexible. In fact, it means being flexible but being grounded, right? Being rooted, and then the branches and the tree that has a good, healthy, and strong ability to move with the winds is, can bend and flex in the ways it needs to withstand whatever comes its way. So it doesn't mean you have to be perfect. It just means that the more you can focus on and work on your own foundations, remembering who you are, knowing where you stand, knowing what matters to you, the more you can do that, the more you are able, without even thinking about it, to respond in the ways that are good and right and healthy for you when they show up in the moment. So if you are in a relationship and your partner says something that triggers you, that makes you go into your reactive pattern, but if you've thought ahead of time, here's who I am, here's what's important to me, here's what I need to say, here's what I need to say or do so that I can be in integrity with myself. If you've thought about that, if you've supported yourself, if you've gotten support from a friend to remember, hey, this is something that matters to me. This is something that's really important. If you're doing that as a foundational practice, then when your partner says something that pushes your buttons, you can be more prepared to say something that is healthy for you, probably is going to be healthier for the relationship, right? So it's changing those patterns of where we get reactive, which also is a kind of control, and Saturn Capricorn energy also has to do with control and wanting things to be exactly the way we want them. And the highest vibration of Capricorn energy is not about having complete control over everything. It is more about that ability to adapt and respond. And you can do that more effectively when you are in a place of remembering who you are, what's important to you, what matters, and how to show up, speak up, and live your life in a way that is in alignment with your truth, your authenticity, and being yourself. What really matters to you, what you care about. So we're thinking about that today with this Capricorn moon. And yesterday I shared about the Capricorn moon energy as well, and thinking about resilience. So same idea, we're kind of building on it today, but also recognizing that in the background we have these two squares that are kind of creating a storm this week in the energies. So we've got Mars squaring Uranus, and last Friday, June 6th, I had a video about ego and power and these two squares. And so just now we can, a week later, look back and look at how the Mars energy of action, of themes that can have to do with aggression or fighting or taking a stand can, in this case, be in that Leo. Mars is in Leo, squaring Uranus in Taurus. So we have this face off between where we want things to be the way that we want them. Uranus, Taurus, we want stability, we want dependability, but instead things are changing and we have no choice about that. So we have that Mars in Leo energy that wants attention and can have to do with ego and who's getting the attention and who's got the bigger the bigger demonstration, I guess, of their power or their ego. And so thinking about how that shows up for you in your life, where do you need to be creative? Where do you need to think outside the box in terms of taking action to affirm the kind of world you want to live in? And this does not, even though we're dealing with Mars energy, Mars can be connected. I mean, it's the sign of the warrior. So it can be connected with themes of violence. So we have some themes of military and protesters and clashes and these kinds of things, but it doesn't have to be violent. It can also be, again, from that place of backbone, taking a stand, knowing who you are, knowing what matters and why, that allows you to take advantage of those moments to speak up or, you know, carry a protest sign or get out in the streets or, and not everybody's going to do that. But thinking about how these energies show up for you and your life and what actions are going to be meaningful to you through thinking creatively. And that Leo energy, how can you express yourself? How can you share your voice, have your voice heard, right? For some people it might be doing some art, putting your thoughts and feelings into artistic expression. For other people, it might be, writing an op-ed or something, or writing a letter and sending it to someone about what you think. And the ability to put your thoughts and feelings into expression can be very powerful with this square. So thinking about what you need to do, what that looks like for you, coming back to the Capricorn energy and the Capricorn moon of focusing on your foundations and what nourishes you and helps you feel strong so you can bend in the wind and show up and respond to what is happening and find your place to either take a stand or take action or be who you are or affirm what you care about. And it could be like just saying it to your neighbor, right? I don't know. There's all different ways this can show up. The other square is the Jupiter-Saturn square, and that has to do with how we are changing our beliefs, our understanding of reality, our stories of hope and possibility, how those are being challenged in ways that ask us to take it up another notch, up to a new ability to open to possibility, a new story of hope, a new way of telling the current events, current story in a way that sees new possibility. So if you're interested in more about the Jupiter Saturn square, I'm so excited. I just today released part 2 of the 2025 Planet Watch series. So I released part 1 earlier this week on all the planets, the outer planets in 2025 that are changing signs, bringing a lot of change. And then this part 2 just came out today. It is on the planetary alignments like the Jupiter Saturn square, the Saturn Neptune conjunction, and many, many more that are described in this article. So it's a free article. I will link it in the description for this video so you can click to read it. And I would love it if you would sign up for a free account. And if you choose to upgrade to be a paid subscriber, you can also comment on my articles and I will respond to your comments. We can work to build community there. I'm super excited. I feel like we're just at the beginning of what is possible to create in terms of sharing ideas and creating a container of support in that member site. So click Join Astrology Heals to access either set up your free account or $5 a month for to become a paid subscriber, and then you can comment on the articles. And I'm going to be soon releasing some more educational videos teaching you how to interpret some of the astrology and so much more. I'll leave it at that for now. Thanks so much for being here. I'm Marina Orms. My website is astrologyheals.com. For now, that member site is the best way to get to it is click the link in the description for this video where it says join Astrology Heals. You can also read that article about the planetary alignments in 2025 with more about this Jupiter-Saturn square exact on Sunday and so much more. Thanks again for being here and subscribing. I'm Marina Orms, and I will see you next time with more astrology for unshakable self-care. Bye for now.